Nothing about Nano this year has gone how I thought it was gonna go. I feel like this is where I am like actively having to like really stick to this vision that I have for this book.
Peace out. I'm on new days on that mood swings. I'll be back, but you can reach out.
Okay, yes. Happy NaNoWriMo. Maybe going to be a higher priority is to make progress on the floating house. That is my adult fantasy project that is already outlined and has already been started. There is a short story that I want to finish. I've been working on it on and off for the last week. It is a sci-fi piece. I don't really have any plans for it. I just kind of wanted to finish it because I promised myself that I would finish a new short story before the end of the year. And then the third thing, and this is really left field nonsense, book idea that I have, and it has a blurb. It doesn't have an outline yet, but it has a blurb, it has characters, there's a premise. Indirectly a sequel to Local Heavens, but not really. Oh, if you're new to my channel, sorry, I'm so scatterbrained today. Local Heavens is my cyberpunk book. I have loved writing in the cyberpunk genre. There's a lot of things that I was able to explore in Local Heavens that I'm really proud of. There's still a lot more that I want to explore in this genre. I feel like I still have a lot of things to say about this world and these characters, but also it'll be really good to write fantasy again because it'll be fun. That's the plan.
It is officially gift giving season, and one of my favorite go-to items to gift my friends and family is jewelry. Even with regular use and easy care, like storing it in these lovely pouches at the end of every day, my pieces from Ana Luisa have definitely stood the test of time over the years, and I always feel really excited and confident being able to gift Ana Luisa jewelry to people in my life. Most of you guys already know that I'm a big jewelry person. I don't feel like any of my outfits are complete without at least a little bit of accessorizing, and one of the reasons that I love shopping from Ana Luisa is that their selection is so varied, with a mix of minimalist to bold pieces that are timeless and built to last at very affordable prices. I also think that buying jewelry that doesn't tarnish after just one or two uses is so much more sustainable. And also, Ana Luisa is a carbon neutral brand in both its packaging and its materials. I love that I can find the perfect accessory for any gift, and right around this time of the year, Ana Luisa offers so many great discounts. For the last few years, way before I was making content and partnering with Ana Luisa, whether it's birthdays or holidays, I've always been able to get my shopping done super fast without breaking the bank. I think there's something really special about shopping for jewelry for someone else. It's something I always look forward to, thinking about someone's style and personality and finding a piece that matches them and makes me think of them. These are some ways that I've styled my Ana Luisa pieces in the past, and I like being able to take my everyday looks and pair them with some jewelry that makes me look and feel more put together for the day. If you're interested in gifting some Ana Luisa jewelry to your friends, family, and loved ones, make sure to click my link in the description box to get a discount off your next purchase. And of course, a huge thank you to Ana Luisa for partnering with me on this video.
Okay, I want to try to power through my short story today, or I could start working on chapter 2 of The Floating House. Equally interested in doing both. I'm going to start with the short story, and then maybe later tonight I'm going to work on The Floating House. I'm excited to start writing again. Okay, so I changed my mind. I opened my Scrivener file for The Floating House, and I'm getting back into these vibes. Some good vibes going on in this book. I have been away from this project for a couple months now. I did the bulk of the brainstorming and world building and stuff like that in, I think, July. I'm having one of those moments where it's just like, oh, I forgot I wrote that, or I forgot that that's a thing that I'm doing for this book. World building stuff, countries, nations, politics. This here is character notes, and then I also have a chapter by chapter outline. It's long. I think I need to reread what I put in this outline because I can't fully remember. It's a little bit daunting. I can feel in in my bones. It's gonna be, but it should be. All new writing projects should be just a little bit daunting. I do think it'll be very, very fun to be working with an ensemble cast for this project. Yeah, if only because Local Heavens was a very like, the voice was very intimate, whereas this one is going to be, there's gonna be room to play around with like the character voice of multiple characters, and that's gonna be really fun. I really want to get through chapter 2 because, so the two main characters are named Valerie and Elijah. Valerie's voice, I haven't really fully got into it yet. It's going to be not too different from Anna Lynn, who was the female lead of Nightward, which is sort of the original fantasy book that I was working on, that I developed the floating house, taking ideas from Nightward but developing it for a new story and a new world. But the Nightward was also dual POV, and Anna was the protagonist of that book, and I think Valerie will be a lot like her. I think Valerie will be a lot more like Anna, more so than Elijah being like Felix, who was the male lead. I think Elijah slightly different from Felix. Felix is was much more of a serious character, whereas I think Elijah, his backstory is very different and has more of like an outgoing exterior. Basically, Valerie and Elijah are gonna be like grumpy ex Ball of Sunshine kind of dynamic, with Valerie being the grumpy one. Yeah, I'm so excited to write them. I have made some progress on the floating house, not a ton, I'm not gonna lie. Sitting there, we're doing things, we are writing. We're just writing very slowly. 500, 600 words yesterday, but it's fine. I'm trying to tell myself that it's fine. I had kind of a longer work day today, so I do feel a little bit tired, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know if I'm gonna get any writing done. What I haven't found so far with this project is a solid rhythm. I think it's one of those things where, you know, you're starting a completely new book, you're getting to know completely new characters. I don't know if it's just the project or if it's just my mood right now. I know it'll come to me eventually. I just need to kind of keep at it and chip away in small chunks. And it wasn't like Local Heavens wasn't a fun book to write. Like, it was. There was something about writing Local Heavens, and the project is so... The project is different, let me just say. So this will make a lot more sense when I actually share more about Local Heavens. Other thing that I'm still missing with the floating house is, typically with all my books, I tend to have like some kind of third act or late second act scene that I brainstorm, that I come up with, that I'm like so looking forward to writing. Local Heavens had a ton of scenes that I was really looking forward to write. There was like a scene in Act 1 that is like, I was like so excited to write. There is a midpoint twist that I was so excited to write. I think with the floating house, like I know I'll get there like eventually. When I originally started kind of playing around with these ideas to where I am now, I know that as of right now, I feel like a much more capable writer. I've talked before on my channel about how I need to be a little bit scared of a book idea in order to write it. The floating house does not scare me. I need to find something about this book that will scare me, but it doesn't mean that I'm not enjoying myself. Like, I really am enjoying myself. Floating House feels like something that I would love to read this book, but I think the fantasy market is so incredibly saturated. I'm trying to find the one element somehow, somewhere in this narrative that feels like it's uniquely mine. I need to find something to read to like get me out of this like weird slump. In other news, I think that I will be getting comments back from my agent on the revised draft of Local Heavens next week. I know with the holidays approaching, we're not going to be going on sub this year just because like publishing shuts down for the holidays. I just hope she likes it. Because aside from my brother, no one read the revisions for draft 2 before I sent it to her, because the fundamental aspects of the book weren't changing, but it is like an extra like 15,000 words of content. My agent just emailed me. I wasn't expecting this. I thought she was gonna take way long. Has she read it? Does she like it? I'm so impressed with your ambitious, sharp revision and with the way your language, imagery, storytelling are so vivid. Your sharp adjustments and additions. Local Heavens has gotten stronger on every level. Focused on some additional opportunities to strengthen the relationship between some suggestions for line level polishing. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Okay, she has a whole note on pacing. Okay, just, it's fine. Everyone, it's fine. She said, this is likely our last real round before submission, so this is all just for me to consider and that I have the final decision on what I want to do. I'm gonna take the time to really look through her thoughts. I think she's given me a lot to think about. Hello. Sorry for the quality change. My camera's dead. Nano has been thrown out the door. No plans are gone. My revisions for Local Heavens are gonna take priority, of course, because I want to be able to make sure that I'm not rushing it, that my agent has time to read it, especially around the time that the new year comes / over the holidays. You know, a fairly good amount of time to like go back into that fantasy work. I do like the progress that I made earlier in the vlog. It wasn't a ton, but you know, I think I was also able to re-brainstorm a lot of really critical things that I wanted to re-brainstorm. So over the past couple days have made my revision notes. It's not a full revision plan. The changes that I need to make to the first act of Local Heavens, and I started them. A lot of the changes are actually happening in Act 1. It's a little bit more intensive just because of how my brain gets out of hand. The revisions are a little bit more intensive than I was anticipating, but I'm okay with that. It's not intensive as in I'm writing a lot of new stuff. I'm actually changing like small things that are in existing scenes. Almost every chapter in Act 1 and a little bit of Act 2. Okay, I haven't decided yet, but this is the part that I'm still not sure about, but I think I will also need to figure out where and how to strengthen this romance a little bit more. It's almost there. I'm gonna have to search for a few more moments to just deepen this relationship a tiny bit more. This goes against like every fiber in my being. I think I've talked in previous vlogs about how I really enjoy writing like much more subtle romances. The romance just has to be a tiny bit more explicit than it already is. For the second revision, I made it so explicit. I gave them a lot. I gave these besties a lot. And so they're almost there. Like they really are almost there. They just need a tiny bit more. So I haven't identified the exact moments between them that I'm gonna fix. I don't quite know. I think I don't really want to write any new scenes between them because I think the scenes that are already between them, they're already fine, they're good. I think it's more just like a sentence level. I don't know, maybe they just need to flirt more. What I will say is that reading this book for the 8 millionth time, revising it again, I'm still having fun. But it's just one of those things where I need to get back into the voice. Also, I do feel like when I get into these points where I'm like really jumping around the draft, I feel like sometimes I like forget. If I'm still holding the ending in my head, but I'm editing stuff that's in the beginning of the book, sometimes it messes up sort of the character dynamics because it's like, oh, these characters aren't close yet. They shouldn't be talking that openly yet. So just like kind of getting back into that mindset. But you know, we're making progress. Nothing about Nano this year has gone how I thought it was gonna go. I, for the last week, have been just really going back and forth about this new round of like feedback that I've gotten on Local Heaven. Overall, I think that feedback that was like causing me the most stress and sleepless nights, I guess, was the pacing of Act 1. What I've been kind of doing over the last several days is address some of those like questions and suggestions that she had, but without drastically, like without literally rewriting the first act. I had a few days where I've been second guessing myself, and after talking through it, after speaking with my beta readers, I feel like this is where I am like actively having to like really stick to this vision that I have for this book. When you're writing a book that literary leaning but still genre, this is the exact kind of worry that I had. The driving force of the first act is largely questions about character motivations and character relationships. And when you think about genre fiction and you think about the science fiction and fantasy space, expected to have quick inciting incidents. They are expected to have these like very high stakes external conflicts. And when you think about the conflicts that you see in SFF books, it's always about something that's like big bad entity, you know, something that is like threatening the life of the main character or someone in their life. But I think where this book is kind of definitely sitting in a more literary space is that all of the mysteries that you are being presented in this first act, different questions about the cast of characters and who they really are and what they really want. I know my agent is coming from a place of love, and I am still really glad that she raised this feedback, because I do think that there are some scene level, line level edits that I can make. Hopefully address some of these issues. I am happy with this first act largely, and I don't feel the need to like introduce new plots, new characters, and all that the way that I did in the last draft. I have started making those edits. I like them. Deciding to start a drafting journal for Local Heavens because vlogging and like making content, and this is sort of a journal in a way. Also, there are things that I don't want to talk about in my vlog, are just a lot more personal, or they're spoilers for the project. I do miss writing things by hand, and I also receive so many notebooks every single year. I always get notebooks as presents from people. A drafting journal where I'm working through all of the emotions that I'm feeling about this book at this moment. You know, whenever I do a premise reveal, which I did say that I maybe do it in October, and now that it's November, I think because I'm still working through revisions, I don't want to have to worry about that while I'm still drafting. I've sort of done some reflection, and I feel like I would like to just kind of, I want to like have a lot of distance from the project by the time I am talking about what it is and why I wrote it. I know I shouldn't feel like I have to justify why I wrote it, but I do have a lot of intensely personal reasons for writing it. The previous draft was very much about fixing, tweaking, polishing the arc of the main character. In my mind, the hierarchy of characters is like the main character, two prominent side characters, one being a little bit more important than the second one, and then there's like, I think the tertiary characters. There is one character whose arc, I'm really treating this third draft as like her draft. Like, I think all the other characters are already there, and so the developmental edits that I'm making are a lot more centered around her. So I have an idea for what I need to do for Act 3, but right now I'm very focused on Act 1. So yeah, I think the approach that I'm going to take with this draft is I'm not going to over edit myself. I'm going to make the edits that I feel comfortable making, that I really believe in. If more need to be made, then that's a conversation that I'm going to have later. Because I'm like in such a deep late stage revision with a draft, and it's NaNoWriMo, and typically NaNoWriMo is like when you're first fresh drafting, really craving my next project. There's a part of me that really misses the first draft vibes of a project. The only reason that I'm second guessing myself is because I'm thinking about publishing, and I'm at that point where it's just like you're so close to going on submission that all of the choices that you're making are going to constantly be made against the question of what would an editor think. It still is extremely enriching to be able to revise this book, but it's still tough. It's still tough to be working through those emotions some days to the point where it's sort of blocking you. Some progress. I am very, very close to being done revising the main changes that I wanted to make to Act 1. First of all, I have not slept well this week. But I'm at a point with this book, the words like aren't even words to me anymore. Let's just say we're truly killing our darlings in this round. Like it's not really because anyone told me to cut it. It's more that like ensure that I can make room for other things. I'm cutting a lot of like, a lot of moments where the main character is just, you know, observing things and philosophizing. He does that a lot. And I have to be a lot more intentional about it. I'm just gonna finish off those edits. They're almost there. I think I can get to them within this like next week, and then we'll reevaluate. We'll reevaluate if I want to do more or if I want to kind of go back to my agent with those changes and just say I'm sticking to my vision on the rest of it. I think I'm gonna end the vlog here. We've done some things, we've made some progress. Kind of an uneventful NaNoWriMo. Trying to still, in a way, savor this time that I have with Local Heavens, because this project doesn't deserve to have me resenting it. Whenever I have these moments where I feel stuck, I start to resent the project, and I just don't want to do that. I feel like, you know, last night I was having one of those moments where I was like, why am I even writing this book? Like, what the heck is this book? I could have chosen to, you know, query and put myself through the publishing ringer for the first time with an extremely marketable concept. Yeah, that's the end of the vlog. We'll see how the rest of Nano treats me to finishing your book. It doesn't end at draft 1 or 2 or 3. Happy Nano. Thank you for watching to the end of this vlog, as always, and another huge thank you to Ana Luisa for partnering with me on this video. With gift giving season just around the corner, if you're interested in shopping the Ana Luisa collection, gifting something for your friends, family, loved ones, or yourself, you can click the link in the description box. And that is all. I hope all of your writing projects are going well, and I'll see you guys in the next video.